Hey, what's up? What's up? Joe in Vegas back with another review, another big one. I told you this is a big weekend. Dead and Company at the Sphere, the new residency, the new thing to hit the Sphere. Especially after last night, I am sticking to my guns. This Sphere is one of the greatest things that has happened to live music ever. It is unbelievable. We're going to dig into it. I need to start with a disclaimer. This is very important to me because Deadheads, the Grateful Dead fans, are passionate and loyal. And I am not a Deadhead. I am not a Dead fan. I do not know that much about the band. Let's see. I know the songs that if I told you I was mad they didn't play them, then you guys would kill me. I know the Casey Jones. I know the Touch of Grey. I like Touch of Grey. I remember when the video came out for Touch of Grey with the skeletons, thinking, oh, this is why people love Grateful Dead. I really didn't know anything about the band. I know that came out years after Jerry passed. My take on Grateful Dead is they were just this fringe little thing out there. I was a rock and roll guy. I grew up on 80s rock. Pop music, but mostly that 80s hair metal, heavy metal that I'm sure you guys look at and laugh at me. Not that I laughed at you. I always looked at Deadheads as it was cool. They're doing their own thing. Good for them. It's not for me, not my style. I've never been into jam bands. I enjoy the beauty of the music. The 2, 3, 4 hour concerts gets long for me. So I always, when I saw jam bands, I would love the first hour of it, and then it would just be like, okay, I'm good to go, which is an important thing, and I'm saying that for a reason because I'll get into it in a bit. But, I've seen Dead and Company a few times in the past, and I've always enjoyed it. I just went for the spectacle. I went for the experience. I went to, see what it was all about, and I loved seeing people that happy. I loved the music was great. It's just not my style, but it's you can't deny it's great music. It's catchy music. It makes you want to move. It makes you want to dance. The arena filled with weed doesn't only helps that make you want to get out of your seat and move a little bit, and that's what it's all about. And you just see the joy in people's faces, and people spinning in circles, and people just dancing, and people that you look at and you're like, I know you're an accountant in your regular life, and here you are with in a pile of smoke, tie-dye shirt, spinning in circles, dancing your ass off, and good for you. Good for you. So I never had a problem with, or I don't know why anybody would, or I never had anything negative to say about that community. So with that being said, like I said, I know Truckin', I know Touch of Grey. I had a period in my teens where I was really into Bob Dylan. They came out with Dylan and the Dead, so that was another introduction I had to Jerry Garcia and the band. Again, just wasn't my thing. So when they announced that they were, and let me say something too, I don't make any notes for these reviews. I just turn on the microphone and hit record. This one might be a little long just because I want to make sure that I get as much of the visuals in, because this is why I came. Again, if they were playing and they were playing at just MGM Grand like I saw them last time, and the tickets I remember were like super cheap. I think I might have paid like $16 for a ticket last time. I would have probably gone anyway just because I would have loved it. But this gave someone like me a solution. I mean, I can't even imagine the feeling as a Deadhead when you heard that they're doing a show at the Sphere, because you guys go to so many shows. I mean, it's a known thing. And not that they're all the same, but, it's what you're expecting. This is finally something that's happening where you don't even know what to expect. No one knew what to expect. And boy, did they fucking deliver. But this gave me a chance to go for something else other than the music, which is what I needed, and it's why I really enjoyed this show. It gave me something other than just the jam music to listen to for 4 hours. Just to get into it right now, in case anybody's wondering, they started at 7:30 on the dot. They finished at 11:30, and there was a half an hour admission. I just wanted to throw that out there in case I forget if someone's planning on coming. They really started right away, so make sure you're in there at least by 6:45 to get your seat. It's packed. The merch booth, even though there's 3 or 4 floors, the merch areas are packed. The food area is packed. So definitely get there if you want to get all set up and ready to go. Okay, so like I said, I this gave me an opportunity to go see a band that it gave me something to look forward to, because I'll admit it, one of the gripes I have is I feel a lot of their songs sound the same. So now it adds another dimension to Dead music where the music may sound the same song to song, but the graphics were substantially different and substantially got better and better and better. And I'll get into them. The editing for this is going to be tough, so don't yell at me. I can't, I'm going to show things, and I want to talk about, this graphic and this graphic, and it's going to be impossible because some of the videos are 2 or 3 minutes long. So don't get mad at me if I'm talking about a graphic. I'll try my best to sync them up. But the good news is I don't know what songs the graphics were attached to, so I can't mess it up too bad. Let's get into tickets real quickly. I sat in section 306, which was dead center, third level. The Sphere, I've said it in my other Sphere reviews. I'll do it real quickly. I've always said it's a trade-off. It's honestly a trade-off. If you want to be closer to the band, you're down on the 100 levels, and please, please, please check your tickets and check your rows and check the details and the limited view. Any seats on the first level, there's GA and then there's seats in the first level. Anything after, I think it's row like 10, 11, 12, there's an overhang over you, and you cannot look up and see the entire screen. Do not buy those tickets unless they're super cheap and it gets you in the door and it's all you can afford. Don't buy those seats thinking you're going to get the full experience, because you're not. It's not worth it. The thing about GA, the trade-off is you're right there, you're right in front of the band, which people love, and the screen is secondary. Because it's not secondary, but you have to look straight up, you have to turn around. It's hard to do that for 4 hours, where you're just staring straight up and turning around and doing your back to the band. Not for me, but for some people, especially those who love to dance, the floor looked like a zombie movie from where I was. Just everybody moving, everybody spinning, everybody twirling. It was nice. It was cool to see. Second level's considered the prime because you get the best of both worlds. You're the closest to the band, and you still get the scope of the screen. Third level, which is where I sat, is the next level up, obviously, but you get a full view of the screen. The band is far. I'm not going to lie. They look like little tiny ants, but you get this full, encompassing, immersive feeling on the screen, which for me, because I didn't care as much about the band or seeing the band, was perfect for me. And then the fourth level gets really steep up there, but I've sat there in other shows. It's not the worst thing. Don't think because they're cheap you're going to get the full Sphere experience from there. You're not going to be able to see the band. So choose your poison. Choose what you want to do. Choose on ticket prices. This is not Fish. When Fish came, I know it was only 4 nights, and the cheapest I saw was $1,000 a ticket. Dead and Company's doing a lot more nights. I think they're up to like 25 or 30 nights. So I think I paid like $250 a ticket. It was perfect. Right price, right seats. I was incredibly happy with my seats. So that's my little speech thing. Okay, so after Jerry died, and I want to talk about Jerry in a second because it's important. But when Jerry died, I think there was a break for a while. And then they formed Dead and Company. And if my memory serves me correct, don't beat me up. I don't know. I'm going off of my limited memory of something I have very little knowledge of. They started touring as Dead and Company, and I believe they had different people, different tours, or different nights. They would bring out different guest people. And I think John Mayer was one of those guests, and I believe he ended up sticking. And I was talking to people next to me. He is a perfect replay. He is so talented. You could see it when they show him on the screens. He is so into the music. He loves the music. He loves the environment. He loves the community. And he's so fucking good. So he's a great replacement. I think everybody's really happy with him. Going back to Jerry, I was shocked. So I always, when the Sphere first came out, and U2 and I always said, God, this is such an opportunity for, let's say, someone like a Paul McCartney who wants to play the Sphere, or Paul and Ringo got together and they did a Beatles run at the Sphere. You have this technology now that you can put the band back together. You can have John, you can have George on the screen. You can have, using AI, using, old footage of, if they want to do Here Comes the Sun and they have old footage of George Harrison, playing, and you can do that, and you can mix it and make this beautiful thing. So when I heard Dead and Company was coming, my first thought was, okay, this is going to be heavily infused with Jerry Garcia. I mean, they're going to take old footage, they're going to use AI, they're going to use computer graphics, and this is going to be a tribute, a testament, whatever you want to call it, to him, who was the heart of the band, I think. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the fact that Dead and Company still going all these years later is amazing. Excuse me. It just shows you what he built and what they built. But I think they missed it. There was barely any Jerry in there. I saw during one of the graphics and one of the songs, I saw a little face of him flash across the screen. And that was it. There was another song, I don't remember which one, towards the end, where they were showing old pictures and stuff of the band. So there was a lot of Jerry in there. But Nothing. I think that maybe there's a reason. I love for someone to put in the comments because I would love to know. Why didn't they take advantage of this technology to show old footage of Jerry, to have Jerry singing along, even if they're singing and just in the corner and all the space graphics, there's a little Jerry playing on a moon or something. I don't understand it. There's got to be a reason for it. So if someone knows, let me know. I don't know if they just want, I can't imagine they just want to put Jerry behind them. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, okay, let's get into the set list because this is, I think they change it every night. Never know what you're going to get. I think I knew 2 songs. I do. I'm being honest. I'm just being honest. All right, starts with Samson and Delilah, and then Shakedown Street, which I kind of knew. That was the beginning of the graphics, the mind-bending, jaw-dropping graphics that I can honestly say was much better than U2. Not better than U2, much better than U2. They went all out on these graphics. I don't know if they understand that half of the audience is in an altered state, maybe more than half the audience is in an altered state, so they figure let's double down on this graphics and blow their minds. It's very possible. I was not in an altered state unless you consider, half a bottle of Jack Daniels, but that's not altered. That's just drunk. But you don't need to be in any state to really appreciate it. They do. It's incredible. Shakedown Street was the first graphic. Again, I'm going to try and match up the videos to these. I don't know if I can do it, but it starts in San Francisco and it just starts pulling out and pulling out and pulling out and pulling out to the world, to space, to Milky Way, to satellites flying by till you're in complete space. And I think that set the theme. I think that's the storyline where it starts in San Francisco at Haight-Ashbury, right where it started, pulls all the way out. Now you're in space and now you're in this altered universe. And the next 3 hours of graphics have a lot to do with that. Let's keep going. After Shakedown Street was Bertha, Crazy Fingers, Big River, Good Lovin', which was a cover. I think Big River, it says here, Johnny Cash cover. Good Lovin', I knew that because it wasn't their song. That's an Olympics cover. Deal by Jerry Garcia. Then they had their half-an-hour intermission. China Cat Sunflower, I Know You Rider, Estimated Profit, Cumberland Blues. The other one, the drums. I think this is that drum solo, which was, the graphics to this was incredible. I mean, I think that's what it is. It's got to be. It was probably half an hour long, and it kept getting crazier and crazier and crazier. Again, I'll try my best to match up the graphics, but I apologize if I don't. Space, Black Peter, Althea, U.S. Blues, Morning Dew. Then they had an old news broadcast of the Grateful Dead, and then they closed out with Turn On Your Love Light. At the end, can't remember if it was Morning Dew or Turn On Your Love Light. It did the opposite of what it started with. It came back down from space and started zooming in until we started back at Haight-Ashbury. So it was like this complete circle where you started in Shakedown Street and just went up into this crazy universe of graphics and then came all the way back down slowly. I'll try to post some graphics. The graphics in between. Oh, God. It's one of those things I got to just throw them up here and you guys watch them and it's impossible to explain. The highlight ones were the drum for sure. There was this cartoon with this dancing skeleton. It started in a graveyard and it jumped on a motorcycle and it was just the most craziest, awesome thing I have ever seen. It was unbelievable. And here's what I want to say. The graphics won me over on the music. I don't know how to explain this without sounding like an asshole. That jam music that for me was always too drawn out and I didn't want it to stop because the graphics were so good. Like I just wanted to keep going. It was like a soundtrack to a movie, which is something that me, who's not into jam band or not so into Grateful Dead, it worked for me. It finally worked for me. It clicked for me. That's how I become a fan of Grateful Dead. I needed those visuals to match the music. Most of their fans didn't need the visuals. They had the music and they're good enough. I needed those visuals. And collectively, together, boom, it was magic for me. I did not want the show to end. It was 4 hours long, and I wanted to see what was next. I had no idea what was coming. I made it a point not to even look at graphics from the night before. I just wanted to keep going and keep going and keep going. And it did. But that cartoon with the guitar, there was one which was like a rainbow, and it was like a highway going through the galaxy on this rainbow like highway. It's just crazy. There was one graphics where it was going through all the different famous venues, Fillmore and Winterland and Cornell, and Red Rocks, and it was transporting you. It was fucking transporting you to these iconic shows that they had throughout their history. It was beautiful. Everything. I'm sure I'm missing some. I'm just going to post everything, and you guys watch it as much as you want. I loved it. I freaking loved it. I think it was I connected to U2 more emotionally because those were songs I grew up with. Those With or Without Yous and One and stuff like that. I just connected with it. The graphics were amazing. These graphics to me were much better, much more creative. U2 had a big dead spot in the middle of their set list. There was no dead spot here. We were going from graphics to graphics to graphics to graphics to graphics to graphics for 4 fucking hours. I loved it. This is getting long. I'm going to start winding it down. Scale of 1 to 10. God, I know I give all these shows pretty high scores, but I'm very fortunate. I've been going to some of the best shows on the planet, and this is no exception. 9.8 out of 10. I think if I knew the songs, man, for Deadheads, I think this is a 10. Everybody was on cloud 9 walking out of there. Everybody had their mind blown. I think this is a perfect, if you're a Deadhead, if you're not a Deadhead, get on a plane, come see the show. It's here for a while. It's not that expensive. Make a weekend out of it. The only thing negative I would say is they just didn't take advantage of the technology to pay a stronger tribute to Jerry Garcia. They should have. I don't know if it's coming. I don't know if these graphics are the same throughout the whole thing, but that would be my only complaint. But again, it's so little to complain about. Thank you so much for listening. I'm scared to make this review because I didn't know what I was going to say, but I think I really covered it all. You're getting a non-fans kind of look on how to react to this, and it's spectacular. Kudos to John Mayer, to Bob Weir, to the rest of the band. These guys put on a hell of a fucking show. You know, I don't even know how many. There was one graphic that had all their. It was one of the best ones. They had all their backstage passes and ticket stubs, and they did what U2 did, where they squared off the top, which is really something to see when you can square off the top of something that's a curve, that's a dome, and you can make it square like you're in a square. It's awesome. There's so many graphics. I know I'm forgetting some. It's getting long. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Subscribe, comment. I know you will. Let me know if you were there, what you thought. If you were a fan of Dead and Company or Grateful Dead, or if you're not a fan, I'd like to hear the difference in what you thought. Thank you. Subscribe. I want to keep doing this. I need subscribers to keep doing this. Thanks for listening. I will see you at the next show. We're going to night 2 of Pearl Jam tonight. I can't fucking wait. And thanks for listening. Bye-bye.